we need to talk about the movie Him. Yes, there might be some spoilers, so if you haven't watched it yet, click pause, come back, or if you don't mind, tag along for the ride. I'm going to give my thoughts on the movie overall, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on the spiritual side of things as well. Now, if you know me, demon movies, not my vibe. Annabelle, demon doll thing, The Exorcist, The Conjuring, I don't do that stuff. But maybe because this one was kind of like football based, and as a former football player myself, couldn't help but feel tempted, and I went and watched in IMAX. As many of you probably know, this was produced by Jordan Peele's production company, Monkey Paw Productions, but Jordan Peele was actually not the director on this, and maybe I just didn't catch it in the trailer. Looking back, you can see it says produced by Jordan Peele, but I think his directorial vision is going to be missed. It was actually directed by Justin Tipping, and looking at his IMDb, I don't see any previous connections with Monkey Paw, but there definitely was a missing element to the movie. Overall, I felt like the movie took extremely long to get to the point, like forever. Forever. The way I understood the trailer was we have this aspiring quarterback, he's trying to make it to the league. Maybe he sells his soul to the devil or some other dark force. And then we kind of see the aftermath. Throughout the whole movie, this moment is coming, but it just takes a very, very long time to reach that point. Overall, the acting is very good. I felt like each character was casted really well. However, good actors cannot make up for a bad storyline. Essentially, the film follows Tyreek Withers' character, Cameron Cade, as he spends a week with his childhood idol, Isaiah White, played by Marlon Wayans. Side note, I feel like we gotta give Marlon Wayans some props here. The guy has shown range, everything from Scary Movie to White Chicks to now Him, and each of the roles, I think he's absolutely crushed it. I think in this, he kind of proved that he is him when it comes to acting. But regardless, the story just seemed a little far-fetched. I think there was a lot of moments where I felt anyone in their right mind would have just left this house, but it's a movie. I get it. I'll play along. The story just seems to jump all over the place and not feel very connected. I felt like they kind of developed a good moment for each of these different days, but none of these moments really mesh well together. For example, the crazy fans in the Saviors team colors that almost seem demon-possessed, the undrafted free agents willing to do anything, the concept of the blood being passed down to the next star athlete and it going back multiple generations. There were a lot of good moments individually, but it just did not add up to a cohesive story. Overall, would I recommend watching the film? I think so, but I went to IMAX, especially when films are made for IMAX. I go, I'm trying to support the film industry. I love movies. I love IMAX. I didn't leave this movie feeling like, thank God I spent the extra $10 for IMAX. So maybe you go watch it in the regular theater or wait till it comes out on streaming. Now let's jump over to the spiritual side of things. Throughout the movie, Cameron Cade is seen wearing a cross necklace. I thought this or his relationship with God would come into play more, but it really didn't. What's interesting is the antagonist, Isaiah, can also be seen wearing cross earrings. So the fact that conversations about that or God or Jesus didn't come up, it felt a little like a missing element, but I'm Christian, so maybe my perception is skewed. Who knows? It did feel a little weird that the antagonist would be wearing these earrings, who we know he has aligned himself with dark forces, but, come to think about it, I actually don't mind that element. It's almost like we can be so close to Jesus and the cross and not let him rule over our lives and not let him actually be God in our lives. At one point in the film, Isaiah tells Cameron, you've heard the saying, God, family, football. Well, for me, it's football, family, God. When you hear that, how do you not think of the first commandment? You shall have no other gods before me. Also, Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 10:14, therefore, my dear friends, flee from idolatry. Or how about Matthew 22:37-38? You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. I feel like we kind of got a subtle dose of what it's like when we have an idol that replaces God and the things that can happen because of that. Football's not a bad thing. I'm not saying everyone who plays football needs to stop, needs to go become a pastor. At one point in the movie, there's kind of a Last Supper moment, but it just feels kind of forced and random. It didn't really tie into the story that well either. When the movie credits start, you can hear Denzel Curry's new song, the official soundtrack for this movie, HIM. It caught my attention because it closes with the line, "You look up to him, I look up to God," which I felt like is a nice reminder as we leave the movie theater. You know what I mean? Did you see the movie? Let me know your thoughts. Are you avoiding the movie just because of the trailer? You're just like, hey, that's way too dark. I can't even believe that you saw this movie as a Christian yourself. How could you? Let me know your thoughts. If you found value in this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.